to early impact. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors lived in caves such as this. They told stories to each other to help make sense of their lives. Children are the greatest storytellers, and storytelling is fantastic for developing so many skills in young people. Today we're going to have a look at 10 fantastic ways to use story stones to help children become independent storytellers in their own right. Okay, this is what a story stone basically looks like. I've used these white, magical, sparkly stones to just make it a kind of magical experience. But it's not essential, any kind of stone will do the job. They've simply got things, different things drawn on them. I've used a permanent marker pen and painted them with acrylic paint. And that is the best effect that I've found, having tried a few different ways of doing them. Let me show you some of the different stones it's a good idea to make. Here are the sort of things you want to draw on your stones. First, we've got some good characters, things like a frog, a cat, princess, things like that. You also want some bad characters as well. We've got a witch, a ghost, and the big bad wolf, but any kind of baddie will do the job really well. You want some settings as well, exciting settings for your story, things like a dark, spooky cave, the haunted castle, the sea. Also, bad things that are going to happen. For example, a terrible fire, a storm. But then good things as well to resolve the story towards the end. They find a magic key. What does it open? A rainbow comes out. A ring. Someone gets married. So there we go. Those are just a few ideas of the sort of things you can put on your stones. Okay, my number one way of using story stones is to put them in a bag or a box, something like this. And the idea is you just take out one stone at a time, get the children to take out one, and just tell a story. For example, one day there was a little frog. Then you give the bag to the next child, they take one out. The frog went to the dark, spooky, haunted castle. What did he find inside? There was an evil, cackling witch. She put a terrible spell on the frog. Luckily, a magical rainbow appeared in the sky. A beautiful unicorn came down the rainbow to save the frog. The unicorn set the castle on fire. You just basically carry on like that. Keep going. It's always going to be a bit random, but just keep going. Great for talk, great for communication, fantastic for imagination.
Action.
The random way of telling stories with stones is probably my favourite way and the best way to definitely start. But the next step is to get a bit of a structure into your stories. And you usually use a 4-part structure. It starts character, setting, problem, and resolution. The basic idea of this is you get 4 stones. You pick one from each basket. So something like, one day there was a little frog. He went on an adventure across the sea. There was a terrible storm. The ship was about to sink. Suddenly, the magical rainbow appeared in the sky. Magical unicorns came flying down the rainbow and took the ship away. They flew with it to land and everyone was safe. The end. Next, this is a great play activity involving story stones. You get something weird for them to put them on. Something like this candle holder, or a big log is a good one. Something just so you can put stones on and tell a story. They basically just put them on. It's like a kind of story mountain getting made. For example, you know, put the princess on, the sea, the evil witch. It's just a case of playing with the stones and making it up as you go along. You know, one day there was a beautiful princess who went to sea, but there was a terrible storm, the witch came, all that kind of thing. Just a simple thing to put them on and make up the story. Next are these abstract stones. These are a bit trickier. The basic idea of these is you put simple marks onto a stone. For example, these dots, or a zigzag, circles. These are a bit harder because they don't represent something that's obvious, and you can just make up what it is. For example, this could be hailstones, a terrible avalanche. It could be spots on someone who's got a hideous disease. This one could be a portcullis, or, you know, terrible knives shooting out the floor. Who knows? There's so many options. You just kind of make up a bit of a story with these basically and fill in the gaps. You know, one day on the castle turret they saw the terrible shark with hideous teeth swimming through the moat. There was a terrible rain shower, etc, etc. These abstract stones are fantastic for mark making, and even very young children can start to make simple marks and link it to talk and working around stories as well. For example, I'll just pick one at random. This, we can say this is like a knight's helmet, and just how they have a go of just trying to draw a knight's helmet in some way on big paper, you know, even bigger than this if you want. What happened next? There was a terrible snowstorm. All the snow was flying out of the sky, landed on the knight. What was he going to do next? Oh my goodness, he saw the terrible bear running through the woods with its massive teeth shining in the light. Let's do some bear teeth. And you just keep going like that. Keep going, mark making, making up what it is. Great for talk, great for making up stories, and a super mark making tool thrown in as well. You can mark make also with the normal story stones. For example, one day there was a little cat. Just have a go. It doesn't have to look like a masterpiece, just some kind of simple, you know, bit like a cat basically. What happened to the cat? There was a terrible forest fire. He had an amazing idea. And you just keep going like that. Tell a story, get all the children to join in, have a go with them, trying to make the simple marks. Simple as that. Another way of using story stones is creating characters from a story. One of the all-time great classic sequence of stories are these Harry McClary books. Fantastic for phonics, fantastic for rhyme, but also great for storytelling. Here we go. I've just made some dogs. They're just stones painted in different ways. They look a bit like the different dogs. Here's Bottomley Potts covered in spots, for example. You just cover with acrylic paint and a bit of a permanent marker to make the lines. You can do all sorts of these. Great for maths. They're all different weights, for example. You can weigh them, which one's heavier. They're all different lengths. You can do great sort of small world play with them and act out stories. They're also fantastic for counting. Simple games like you count how many dogs you've got and then read the story. A fantastic resource, and so simple to make. Next, for a bit of creativity, you can paint story stones. I've painted this one with black chalkboard paint. The idea of this is the children can then draw on their own images. For example, I'm just going to, bit of chalk, I'm going to draw the sea, like the waves on the sea on this one. You can draw on your own setting, your own characters, your own problems, and then just wipe them off, and then someone else can have a go as well. Fantastic for imagination and independence and children taking control of their own stories. Yes. Sometimes it might not be feasible to let children use story stones by themselves. For example, you may have a child that throws things across the room. These are quite common. So in the case you have a thrower, there are alternatives. There are other things you can use. For example, these glittery, beautiful, magical eggs that I got from a local shop. Great, it's just simple things like a skull. We've got fire on one, a witch, all the same kind of stuff. Through one of those, nothing would happen. So very, very safe and great for throwers. Other kind of things you could use, things like this polystyrene egg. Bottle tops would be really good. Corks, wooden spoons as well, really popular and very safe. Great for children to use by themselves without any problems of danger or getting one thrown at the head. Thanks for watching. Why don't you try some of these strategies yourself? If you want any more information about story stones, please go to our website, earlyimpactlearning.com/storystones. Thank you very much.